Welcome back to Explore 365 with NJspots. I'm your host, Virginia Bouchel, and I'm also joined by my co-host, Abby, and a quick shout out to our producer, Mike Schickelone. We appreciate you, man, and putting up with us. But if you want to follow Mike on Instagram, check it out at Mike, M-I-K-E, Sick, which is SCIC. So check him out on Instagram. Give him a shout out. We can't do this without you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So today, Explore 365 is joined by ultramarathon runner Cole Crosby. You might have heard of him. He made headlines in January 2021 for running 197 miles. Yes, you heard it. 197 miles from High Point Monument in Sussex County all the way down to Cape May Lighthouse in Cape May County. This journey took him 44 hours, 42 minutes, and 21 seconds.
And don't worry, this episode is not that long. So hope you enjoy our interview with Cole, and thanks again for coming on and joining us at Explore 365.
Well, congratulations, first of all, for running the entire length of New Jersey. I can run like 2 miles, which is a pretty good accomplishment for me. But to run for 44 hours straight, amazing. But to start it off, where are you from in New Jersey?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Kingston, New Jersey, a cute little hamlet just outside of Princeton, New Jersey. And went to South Brunswick High School in Monmouth Junction, Middlesex County. And and then, I moved away for college. I went to the University of Oklahoma and ran out there, and then got into trail running. Moved back east to upstate New York and lived in upstate New York, kind of central New York State, near Syracuse, for about 6 years. And then 3 years ago, I moved back down east to New Jersey, and been having fun ever since.
Yeah, how could you not have fun in New Jersey? When did you start running, and what is ultramarathon running? How did you get into all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that I've been a runner my whole entire life. My first real running memory I can remember was going down to the Princeton University track, and just like, this is me at 4 years old trying to run with my little stubby legs around the track as fast as I could. And I kept falling down, falling on my chin and stuff. I'd get scrapes in my chin, and my parents would just pick me back up, and I just keep on going. And until I fell down again, and I keep getting back up. And that was kind of the first moments of really where I remember as a kid being like, I kind of like to run around and burn that extra energy that I had. And then I got into sports, of course, your baseball, your basketball. I kind of grew up in a cul-de-sac, so a lot of my neighbors, close friends played soccer, so I attempted to play soccer, and was always like that kid that could really run what seemed like forever. And that's kind of where it was evident in sports. And it came down to in 6th grade, I won the gym class mile, and the gym teacher happened to be the cross country coach, and he was like, hey, you should try this thing called cross country. And I'm thinking that it's like something with like a map and compass, and you have to go like out in a field somewhere, like they drop you off somewhere, and you gotta like find your way back and stuff. And little did I know that it was like ultimately it would change my life, really. So that's how I first got into organized running in 6th grade, and I'm proud to say I've been a runner ever since.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how long is an ultramarathon?
It could be anything beyond a marathon. So what I like to joke with people is, if you take one more step past a marathon, you are an ultramarathoner. But most of the competitions or runs or events are anywhere like the next distance up is a 50K, which is about 31 miles.
Okay.
And it could be, ultramarathon's very broad. I mean, you could do an event where you're like running across the whole entire world or something like that. You know, it could be months, it could be weeks, it could be days, hours. Um, you know, once you've gone beyond that initial marathon distance threshold, you're in ultra marathon territory.
That's pretty cool. And I saw like through some of the things we were reading about you, you've done 30 ultra marathons. That's
Yep.
amazing. What was the hardest one?
Running New Jersey.
Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah, and well,
Um,
on that note, how many miles did you run across New Jersey?
197.22 for all those that
Not,
want to know the exact distance. That's what
Of course
I
we do.
picked up.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
197 miles.
wow.
Did you when you started to think about doing this, and I'm sure we'll get into more details about it, but how did you like pick your route? Like what like the obviously you ran from north to south, but like how do you even plan for that? Like how do you plan how many miles, where you're going to run, like what road you're going to run? How do you plan that?
Yeah, it's a fun story because I kind of modeled it off of what inspired me. So you know, around this time last year, I was curious about whether people had run across the state of New Jersey. I've you know, there's a website called fkt.com, fastest known time, that if you go on there, you can see that other people have run across other states, you know, run across Oklahoma, run across Texas, and you name it. So I was curious and kind of surprised I hadn't seen that anyone had really run across New Jersey, at least as far as I could find out. So I did a lot of research, went into Google, didn't really come up with much of anything except for this documentary called the Running the New Jersey 184. Um, you know, I clicked on it, watched it, and the rest was history. And it really captivated me. It's a story of pretty much three runners that start up at High Point and run down to Cape May. And their map, they base everything off of Google Maps, walking directions.
Wow.
And so by watching that documentary, I was like, this is something I have to do. Like, I'm hooked. Like, this is awesome. And I wanted to you know, do this in a way that would help set a precedent. I think because you know, I mean, the documentary and that run happened in 2015, but there wasn't really a lot of publishing of like what the actual route was and all this stuff, and it's just hard to find on the internet. And so in doing this, I wanted to be able to, you know, Strava is a great tool for mapping, and I wanted to be able to do it in a way where anyone could have access to the file and be able to see the exact route that I was able to run, which my route was a little bit different from the documentary. I really chose the most direct line, point to point, and that's why the name, the New Jersey point to point run, came to be. Was you know, High Point Monument down to the Cape May Lighthouse, and I didn't want to, you know, I mean, sure, I'd love to do a nice fun tour of New Jersey, but I wanted to make it the least amount of miles possible, the fastest route, the most optimal, just so that you know, it would just really allow for people, hopefully in the future, to kind of go on that adventure themselves and really be able to push limits. You know, that was kind of my goal in all of it.
Yeah, I mean, really, it seems like you set like a benchmark that never really existed before.
Yeah, I mean, there's you know, there's been other people that have run the state of New Jersey, but their routes haven't been the most direct route. There's been some that have run up by the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Like there's like a boundary stone, which in relation to High Point, it's only maybe like 4 miles different.
Oh, come on, you couldn't
Um,
do an extra 4 miles?
no, mm-mm.
Couldn't go over 200.
But it was like it for me, like as a runner, like my inspiration comes from great stories, and that documentary really hooked me because starting up at the highest point in New Jersey, like at a monument, and like going down to another, like, you know, state park, and going down to like the lowest point, the most southern point, and it happens to be a lighthouse. Like if you look at both types of like monuments and whatnot, like it's really kind of cool because it's something different rather than starting like at the boundary stones and then going down to Cape May. To me,
Yeah,
going
it's
from
more symbolic.
two distinct points that you can visually see that have a lot of significance to both, to the state of New Jersey and to those respective areas. I felt like it was just a more captivating story, and that's how I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it in a way where, I mean, if you look at both the lighthouse, Cape May Lighthouse, and the High Point Monument, I mean, they're both pretty pointy if you ask me. So it just everything just like fit together, um, and yeah, I was just hooked. I knew after that, watching a documentary, that I just had to do this at some point or another, and I wanted to do it sooner than later.
So what was running through your head when you were
Like,
literally running this entire route?
I mean, what I can say is like, we can go through like a little bit of the buildup. Like, I never expected this
Sure.
to get as big as it did. I started like a little, kind of a GoFundMe kind of fundraising through Custom Ink, where we had like winter beanies, and that was mostly with friends, family, and then I work at a private country club up in Mendham, New Jersey, and a lot of the membership was really generous in donating and purchasing the beanies for that fundraiser, and then on the Monday before the whole thing, I had more people reaching out because that fundraiser had closed to make the hats, and I just created a GoFundMe, and I had a lot of media reach out, and didn't expect it. And when some of those articles started to become published, the overwhelming support was incredible, and so much so that I was a nervous wreck. I couldn't sleep the night before,
Oh no.
and it was like, I mean, I've never had that kind of experience before, so I wasn't ready. It was like a curveball that came out of left field kind of thing, and yeah, so I had all this nervous energy. All I wanted to do was just start running, because that's what I like to do, right? And really, it was freezing up at High Point. It was like 4 degrees. The wind's howling. Can't feel my hands. I got mitts on. I almost forget my phone, which was the main tracking device, and obviously I was using the directions on it too to make sure that I was still staying on course and everything. And once we started at 1:58 in the morning, and I was heading downhill, um, I was kind of, all that anxiety kind of just washed away, and I was just kind of in my zone. And I just started to take things in. It was a beautiful night, or beautiful morning rather. Um, and then a couple miles down the road, there was like, I heard people honking, and my wife texts me on the phone, because she's driving in our Honda CRV as our support vehicle, and she says, "Hey, there's a huge group of people that are up ahead that are gonna. There's 3 guys that are gonna help pace you and stuff."
Oh,
And
that's
I'm like,
awesome.
"Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" And this is like, I'm virtually like 30-40 minutes into this whole entire run. I've just gotten the feeling back in my hands again, and it's 3 in the morning, and I got people honking, and they're just waving. They got signs, and it's just like the coolest thing. And that ultimately, at that moment, that set the tone for this whole entire run. I was like, this run is going to be way bigger than I expected, and it's going to be bigger than myself. And at that point, like, I just knew that this was going to be something special. And I just, I mean, my mind was set. Like, it was it was Cape May no matter what. Uh, I didn't worry that I wasn't going to make it. I knew I was going to do everything in my power to make it to that finish line. It was just a matter of how long would it take me.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And that's really cool that and if you don't mind explaining what pacers are. I know what it is, but some of our listeners may not. But
Hmm.
that's really cool that you had people waiting there and that support crew. So tell us a little bit about the pacers, what they are, and also a little bit about that whole support during the run, because I saw that it seemed like during the run you had other pacers that would meet up with you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was the coolest thing. Was I didn't know. I knew a few people that would come out, just from prior communication, but I didn't know like who was going to come out to cheer and help support. And a pacer is just someone that kind of runs along with you and kind of helps motivate you, and make sure that you're in check. And paces were definitely more pivotal. The further I went on in the run, the more that I needed them. just to help guide me because, with sleep deprivation and whole lot of other things we can kind of go into. I mean, without their kind of guidance, I, I probably would still be running right now around New Jersey somewhere. Um, so, a pacer is definitely can be a lifeline. It can be kind of that like road or trail angel out there that just, um, kind of selflessly kind of helps a runner navigate a course and, ultimately helps get them to the finish line. So yeah, it was totally cool. Again, that set the tone.
Was there anything else unexpected or really, really cool like that happened along the way?
Oh, the whole time. The best way to describe the whole entire run was it was kind of like a music crescendo. It got better and better and better, like, and more more incredible as it went along. The support, like the anticipation for this whole entire run, and the fundraising part of it was really amazing too. Like, I came into it not like just I wanted to be able to also help use my running to help contribute to a cause I really care about. And I picked the Road Runners Club of America because I've run on a lot of their sanctioned events, and they have chapters all across the country, and I wanted a bigger organization. um, they have a program called Kids Run the Nation, which is pretty much kind of health and wellness running programs for youth, and um, just for people, like, just donating. I think we raise right now, we're looking at close between the two fundraisers, almost I think we're just under $7,000. And I'm still keeping it open, so if anyone wants to donate, feel free to reach out. But um, you know, this Running New Jersey primarily was a road run, and so I wanted something that connected in that regard. Um, and it was just awesome. Like, really, what I'm trying to get at is, what I was hoping is, I wanted to inspire kids, especially the future runners of America. Um, when I was running, I think near Branchburg, kind of near Hillsborough, New Jersey, there was, I remember distinctly, like, out on the farm, there's like a farm road, and to the right there was like mother, father, mother, and then three little girls, and they had signs with my name on it, and they're ringing cowbells and they're cheering for me, and it was like I had to stop and be like, one day you could do something like this, and they're like, go go, and like moments like that were like just a sheer, like, just treasure for me. Like, I remember running up by my wife when she was kind of beside me for a moment in the car, and I told her, I was like, that group right there, like, that's why I'm doing this. Like, that's why I'm running across the state of New Jersey. Like, because if I generate a spark that catches with that kid, and who knows what their future might be, but I hope that it's a positive one, and hopefully that this whole moment's something, that just a remnant that's left with them, that they, you know who knows where things will go from there. But I just wanted to be an inspiration, and you know there's moments like that all across the whole run, which is incredible.
Well, that's
It,
awesome. And you've the little bit that we've already heard from you and the story that we read before we jumped on the call with you, you've been an inspiration for us. So I just want to let you know, NJ Spots is donating $100 to your GoFundMe page.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
we're going to be doing that, and we'll be sharing, your link with our community too. So hopefully we could help you break that 7,000 and maybe even beyond goal, to go towards your cause, because it's a really cool story that you have.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
welcome. So we just have a couple more, hopefully softball questions for you. What was your first meal after you finished your run?
So, running New Jersey, it's not for the faint of heart. I burnt 24, almost 25,000 calories.
Oh my gosh.
I consumed about 300 to 400 calories an hour. So if you do the math, I was roughly at a deficit of about 15,000 calories. Um,
Wow.
and virtually, like, this week, like, I've been able to have normal energy, but I virtually, from that run, had lost almost 4 or 5 pounds of body weight, and I'm not a big guy to begin with. So the first week, after finishing, like, I was a wreck. I could hardly even walk. I mean, I had tons of crazy muscle swelling and, like, muscle breakdown, and All I wanted to do was just eat, sleep, and use the bathroom. That was it. Like that was my existence.
How'd you
I
recover?
was hardly even coherent. Honestly, when I was
Wow.
talking to people on the phone, and I mean that's really what this run took out of me. It took out a lot, and I did have some delicious pasta, which I always forget the name. I mean, Harry and Mike at KMA Running Company, they connected. I think it's called like Lovely Bones or Pretty Bones or something like that. Um, they had the pasta was incredible, but I was almost falling asleep. I was so sleep deprived that virtually I'm like stuffing a couple mouthfuls, and I had to take a quick shower, and virtually within about like 5 minutes of getting into our like hotel room, my head hits the pillow and I am deep sleep like instantly.
You deserve it. You
Yeah.
deserve a good
so
sleep after that.
so it was, I mean, I did get some good food. I mean, the next day was really the day we got some nice seafood and went to a great coffee shop called Coffee Time, and got to hang out in Cape May really for that week just to recover. And just kind of I had a lot of people reach out, so I just kind of connected with people and did the best I could to make coherent sense.
That's awesome. So when you like you're saying you're sleep deprived, so obviously you didn't sleep like that whole time. So for 44 straight hours, you were literally just running.
Yeah. So like, what made this run so incredibly challenging was not just the distance. Like, I looked at the distance as just being a number. Like I felt like in many ways all the running I've been doing, I've been running 70 to 100 miles a week for like almost like 14 years. And I felt like, um, all the miles, all the time when I've run on tired legs and been tired after a long day of work and all this stuff, it prepared me for this run in many ways. But the one thing I did not really get to prepare for at the highest extent was um, how my body would react with extreme sleep deprivation. I mean, mind you, I didn't really sleep the night before. The run started right around 2 a.m. So, I mean, I came into it pretty darn sleep deprived to begin with, and I took two naps during the whole entire 44 hours. I napped right past the 100-mile mark in Bordentown. I napped for like 30 minutes, and then kind of had another 30 minutes of getting rolled out, and the whole crew, the Uptown General friends at in Bordentown were amazing. This running group that just like they like bandaged up my feet and like rolled out my muscles and made sure I was well fed and everything. And then off I went into the night. And that was the first time. And then I'm running on 206 heading down to Hamilton, which is a big checkpoint because that's about 140 miles into the run. And 206 is a long stretch. It's like 30 miles where you're just running on the side of 206. And it's overnight. I've been running for 24 hours, and I took another nap around 3 in the morning, just because I was getting a little bit delirious and almost nodding off. And it's cold, it's windy. I didn't have paces with me at that distinct point, so it was just mentally like debilitating. I mean, I felt like I was in this barren wasteland, um, you know, segmented between Wawas every couple miles, and it was like it was the craziest thing. And here I am. I took a nap for like another like 40 minutes, and that was it. So like an hour 20 minutes of total sleep. And that stretch was crazy too, because um I ended up, just to keep maintaining speed, I whipped out my trekking poles, my hiking poles, and here I am on the side of the road, like like kind of running slash walking with trekking poles, and it kept me awake. I listened to the clang of the bottoms of the poles on the asphalt, and it gave me something visually to focus on, because at that point my depth perception was a little bit off, with the light from the headlamp and just being calorically kind of in the tank. It's kind of struggling a little bit. That was probably my lowest point, and
Wow.
without the trekking poles, I don't think that I would have really been able to maintain a steady pace that I was able to do through that stretch. I didn't really fully break down. I was always keeping one foot in front of the other, and that, when it comes to a super long distance like this, that is the name of the game: is forward progress. If you're not moving back, if you're not standing still, if you're moving forward, that's one step closer to the finish line. And that was my mentality the whole time. I never. It's crazy because I never had real negative thoughts. I had like one negative thought starting off in the whole entire run. And the rest of the time I was just laser focused. I'm like, I'm gonna get this done. Like, my body hasn't failed me yet. Like, it's gonna happen no matter what. It's just, again, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
That's awesome.
So what are you gonna do next? What are your plans next?
Well, I've been recovering. After finishing the run, I've never done anything like this before. So how my body's been kind of recuperating has been a learning experience for me. I did unfortunately suffer a slight muscle tear, a very slight tear, in the back of my leg. I've just been taking it easy. This next week I might incorporate some walking, and I'm healing up pretty well, I feel like. So maybe I'll strap on the running shoes and see if I can jog around the block a little bit and see how I feel. But I'm just taking things easy. 2021, I'm not really certain on what my race schedule is going to be, but ultimately this run for me was a way to prove to myself that I could excel in some of these crazy, more expedition based events that I want to do. I want to run Arctic expedition ultra marathons. There's
Wow.
even ones in the United States. There's the Arrowhead 135-mile race that goes through International Falls, Minnesota during the coldest time of year. It's the coldest place in the what do they say, lower 48. And you carry a sled with you, and it's kind of almost semi self-supported. You have to carry a lot of your supplies, and there's like distinct checkpoints. But I want to do events like that. I want to do multi-day stage events. What that means is like you're carrying all your supplies in a backpack with you, and you carry all your food, all your clothing, all that stuff. The race directors or race support, they provide like water, and they provide a place to sleep. They pretty much provide a base camp that's mobile. So like day one, it's a whole week long kind of thing. You run like 250 miles. Day one, you run 25 miles. You start at the base camp and you run to the next checkpoint. That next checkpoint happens to be where they've taken the old base camp, packed it up, and moved it over to that next spot. And
Wow.
you just keep doing that.
Amazing.
And yeah, so like I want to do stuff like that. It's something called the Four Deserts Race Series. Was something that captivated me when I first got into ultra running in 2012. It runs in you get to run in like four of the most distinct deserts in the world. The Gobi Desert, which is has like some of the highest extremes. It can be super hot and like bone chilling cold, like minus 40 at night
Wow.
with the wind. You can be in the Atacama Desert in Chile, which is considered the driest. You run through salt flats, and it's higher altitude and super, super arid. You have like I think they do it in Namibia, which is, it's kind of like they had it in the Sahara, but it's kind of that super sandy, super hot desert. And then the last one is my favorite, Antarctica. Like you get to stay in a ship for a week and go around to different parts of Antarctica and run around with the penguins. Like how cool is that? So
That is pretty cool.
So like things like that. I mean, this run for me was like my own like homemade version of like a survivalist expedition based type of run. And what it proved to me was that there's something inside of me that I've had glimpses of, and it's this like primal like survivalist instinct, and I was able to unleash it during this run, and it really opened my eyes to what the future holds. So I want to run these further distances in some of the most extreme environments and try to go as fast as I can. I want to combine speed, endurance, and just sheer will and grit. So those are my future goals.
Those are amazing,
Yeah.
amazing goals. What a way to start off 2021 by starting with that run.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We have one more quick question for you. Does Central Jersey exist?
Yes, it does.
Yay!
Of course it does.
That's the right answer. We love that answer.
So let's talk about a little bit of New Jersey as the last question. It's like
Sure.
So this run, this is by far one of the coolest tours in New Jersey that you could possibly do. It's got everything. It's got tons of hidden gems. I mean, yes, 90% of it roughly is on roads, but the places that you get to go through is just really incredible. I mean, you start off kind of up by the monument, and you're running through these beautiful farm roads, and you got the Appalachian Trail or the Appalachian Mountain Ridge kind of in the distance, and it's just quiet and peaceful. And you go through the town of Newton, which is a really cute town, and you run on the Sussex Branch Trail, which is a little bit of fun kind of trail running there. And, you know, closer to where I work, you get down into Flanders, and you hit some nice hills, and you're kind of like, you know, you go by some golf courses and all that kind of stuff. And then you get into kind of by Bedminster, you're running on right by mansions and beautiful horse farms, and you're on these dirt gravel roads that are incredible. And it's like, I don't know that many people that even know that this place even exists. And to be able to experience that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I mean, the list goes on and on. And it's like, you get to run through the backside of Princeton, which is beautiful, but it's also challenging at the same time. It's probably one of the harder parts of the whole thing, just with having, there's not much of a shoulder on the road. And, you know, for my run during the time of day, it was like during rush hour. So you had a lot of car traffic to kind of negotiate. And, you know, running through the Pine Barrens was just epic, absolutely epic. I mean, I felt like the route was like, I was running, there's a video of me that my wife took where I'm just running up this hill, and I'm like, what is going on here? This is the Pine Barrens. Like, Pine Barrens is supposed to be like kind of flat. Like, I'm like, what, the route that I picked decided happened to be running up a mountain in the Pine Barrens? Like, where are there mountains? Like,
The only mountain in the Pine Barrens, and you
the only
chose
mountain in
it.
the Pine Barrens, and I'm going up it like 8 times. What the heck? So, but you know, going through there was incredible. It's just like the Pine Barrens is a true hidden gem. I want to do more running there. I want to try to run more records and whatnot, and challenges there. Run the Batona Trail and all that kind of stuff, because it's a mystical type of place. And I mean, I don't know if there's any other kind of place out there that really models what the Pine Barrens is.
And you didn't see
There
Jersey
is.
Devil, did you?
No Jersey Devils. So I didn't hallucinate once during this whole entire run. I did have a moment where through the Pine Barrens where I was delirious. I played out a scenario in my mind that my crew and everybody, my pacer Kurt, was leading me the wrong way. And so I was like getting deja vu. I'd look in and be like, Kurt, we've already been here before. Like, what? I know I've been here before, and I hadn't. And
That's wild.
I think part of it was I chugged an energy drink at a point when I needed more solid food, and it just like supercharged me. Like, I was like
That'll do it.
I was crazy. And eventually I kind of came down from all that and realized I had 15 more miles to go, and I was like, oh crap, 15 more miles doesn't seem like a lot after you run 100 whatever 80 something. And
No.
just like, I'm like, I just want to be done. You know, Cape May is amazing. I mean, doing this in the wintertime is great. I think from a safety standpoint, it was really good. I didn't have to worry about a lot of traffic and stuff by Cape May, as well as even, you know, during the day and throughout the nighttime and stuff. So it worked out really well. You know, even though I was running a lot of the time in darkness, which was its own challenge, but it
Yeah,
was
I'm
awesome.
sure.
It's a tour, a beautiful tour in New Jersey, everybody. Like, to also check out, there is a bike route that's like 225 miles, I believe. It's called the High Point to Cape May bike route, which I looked at potentially running that, but I wanted the most direct route. So I chose a route that would cut off kind of some of the more scenic kind of turns and that kind of stuff that you would get more in a traditional bike route. So this really truly, you could bike this, but this really truly is a running route.
Got it. That's awesome. Well, Abby, do you have any other questions on your end?
No.
So Cole, before we sign off, tell everybody where they could find you, where they could support your cause, where they could follow or find the route that you did. Tell us a little bit where people could find you online.
Yeah, I mean, if you just search like Cole Crosby runs New Jersey, you'll probably get a lot of articles and contacts with me into Google. You know, you can find me on Instagram. So my handle is at Cole Crosby 41. That's 41. And you know, I'm on Facebook. The GoFundMe, if you can almost search for it just typing in New Jersey point and then the number 2 and then point. And that should, and you can probably type my name and that would pop it up in the search engine. And you know, sorry everybody, I don't really use Twitter a whole lot, but I do have a Twitter. But yeah, primarily Facebook, Instagram. And then also I use Strava for this run where I had tracking and all that kind of stuff. And you can just search my name and type the word Strava and I should pop up. And feel free to follow me, though I'm not doing much running right now. but that doesn't mean that I won't be up to some good projects here in the near future.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the time today. Thanks for coming on the Explore 365 podcast. I think people have a little bit of a different appreciation for going literally from point to point. So we appreciate you sharing your story with us today.
Yeah. Hey, New Jersey's an incredible state, and the generosity that I experienced from this run was second to none. It was incredible. Just everybody coming out. So this run wasn't just my run. This was our run. This was a New Jersey run, and this wasn't just my achievement. This was a statewide achievement. We did something awesome, and I want people to take pride in that, because there was tons of people along the way that touched me in really incredible ways and really helped me get to the finish line. So yeah, this is our victory. We did it, and we'll see what else happens in the future. And thanks again. New Jersey rocks. It's a much cooler place than what most people would ever imagine, and the people are some of the nicest people you could ever meet.
Well, we appreciate it. And those are definitely some true words that we agree with here.
Hope you enjoyed that interview with Cole. We really, really loved hearing about all the amazing parts of New Jersey that he got to run through. And we really, really loved hearing about how he started at the highest point of New Jersey and ended up in Cape May. So we kind of wanted to talk about, for our off the beaten path segment this week, High Point. So if you haven't been to High Point, it's in Sussex County. It's at the very, very, very tip of New Jersey. You can see for miles at the top of the viewing area near the monument. You can hike the Appalachian Trail from many entry points in the park. There are lakes. It's beautiful in the fall. It's great for droning around, not in state parks. We don't drone in state parks. And there are many, many other areas to explore in Sussex County and in High Point. And a lot of our followers post pictures from there. So what's your favorite? We would love to hear. DM us on Instagram, send us an email. And for the second off the beaten path place, we love to highlight Cape May as well. There's the lighthouse, which you can access the beach. There's a World War II bunker, and there's also an environmental center you can check out. Right down the road from Cape May Lighthouse, there's Sunset Beach, and there's a World War I wreckage, which is also great frame for a sunset photo. And right next to Sunset Beach is the Cape May Migratory Bird Refuge and a few other hiking trails in Cape May Point, where you can see tons of birds and other wildlife. We do have a Birdie Jurors guide on the site, which our writer Lindsay put together, and it has all the places that you could ever need to know which birds you can see at what time of year. So I really, really encourage you to go to NJspots.com and check that out.
And I'm going to challenge anyone to go visit both of those places in one day, because that would be amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. See if you can drive where Cole ran in one day.
Sunrise at High Point and then sunset at Cape May.
Yeah, that would be a feat. Let us know if you do it. Obviously tag your hashtag NJspots. We would love to see you do that challenge.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that would definitely be pretty cool. So
For sure.
Moving on to this week's marketing and digital tips segment here. One thing that we kind of took out of this conversation with Cole this week is making headlines. I mean, that's what he did. He ran the length of New Jersey. He made enough headlines where it caught our attention. We brought him on the show. So when you're doing things with your company, whether it's freelance work, digital projects, even just your Instagram feed, if you're just looking to, spark some engagement up, make some headlines, do something that's not common. Maybe challenge yourself to do different types of photos or cover different things or tag different people that maybe you normally wouldn't tag or interact with. Doing two common things that maybe a couple people would normally do on their own, do them together. So like I just mentioned, go to High Point for sunrise and then drive your way down to Cape May and do sunset at night. Cover that throughout your entire Instagram feed for that day and see what happens. Do something different, think outside the box, and just get creative and have fun with it. If you have any suggestions for our digital marketing tips, feel free to email us at podcast@njspots.com or DM us on Instagram. Abby, wrap us up.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for joining us to listen to Cole's story. You can support us on Patreon. All the details are on njspots.com. There, you can also join our Slack channel for more daily conversations about photography in New Jersey, and just join our community in general. We'd love to have you. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at NJspots. You can sign up for our email newsletters to get news on guides and contests first, because we know that you want to be first. And please subscribe and rate on any podcast player you might be listening to us on, and on YouTube.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Drop a like, subscribe, give us a quick 5-star rating, or 4, but I prefer 5-star. Whatever you prefer.
5 is the best.
5 is the best. Even if you drop a comment, tell us what you like, what you don't like. All feedback is good feedback. So send it our way. And in the meantime, we'll see you next time, or listen to you, or hear you next time, or hear us next time. Either way, we're excited for the next episode, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you later.
Bye. Hey there, Explorer. Virginia here. Thanks for tuning in for this episode of Explorer 365. Hope that you found something useful out of it. And if you want to learn more about any of the topics we discussed in this episode, be sure to head over to NJspots.com, where we do have a summary for every episode on our website. And if you want to support us even further, we would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button and subscribe to us right here on YouTube so you don't miss any future episodes. Also, if you're interested, you could always become a supporter on our Patreon account. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or topic ideas, feel free to email us at podcast@njspots.com. In the meantime, happy exploring.